What's that billowing down the stairs? It's smoke!
It smells like the art teacher's office.
Smoke in the water!
Uh-oh.
They burned down the gambling house. It died within a month's town. I am hungry for a candy bar. I think I'll eat a mouse.
It's played in fourths, rigid fourths, which is going back to the medieval times. That's how they played a lot of shorn parts, was parallel fourths. So now you have
The reason why you start being in a band in the first place is, well, I'd say, I can only really talk from my point of view, is you love music. There's something about music. I grew up in school feeling very passionate about pop music, as it was then. Rock and roll. I remember what rock and roll did to the country. You know, before rock and roll, it was pretty boring. Bill Haley happened, and Elvis Presley, and Little Richard, and Buddy Holly. It happened very quickly, and it transformed everything. And it, for me, as I was then an early teenager, it was mind-boggling, and I just wanted to be, you know, involved in some way in music. We all came from fairly similar backgrounds. And the initial success of the band was, I mean, you talked about 130 million records. I can't imagine that myself. And I certainly don't, I can't doubt that, I can't prove it either. But it doesn't seem right to me that it was that many records.
I mean, we were unleashed, really. As I said, when you're that age, you're immortal anyway. You think you're immortal. And you have a certain power, if you like. You're free financially. You can do an awful lot of things. But you also have this amazing confidence. And I mean, it crosses over into many aspects of life. Not only musical, but into your behavior patterns as well. And you don't realize sometimes it takes a little while to grow up. I mean, you do behave like cretins at times. I did, certainly, many times.
I was a fairly shy teenager, and joining a band, it empowers you. You have a certain power. You're in the band, and if you're in the band,
that's it.
You can pretty much do anything you want because there are people there to protect you, to get you out of any mess you get into.
Did you abuse the power?
Probably.
Not knowingly, but probably, yeah. Yeah, I don't think there was any unkindness. Let's put it that way. I don't think there was anything other than, wow, you know, like running loose in a chocolate factory. I think that's basically what it was. I mean,
Well, we Hey everybody, welcome to the third and final deep dive request that I'm doing as part of my contest fulfillment for Christian over at CGC Vinyl, and the last album that he wanted me to talk about, which I am incorporating into my classic album deep dive series, because this is an album I probably would have gotten around to eventually covering anyway, even though I tried to do a Deep Purple deep dive series that got me blocked. This is a couple months ago. But anyway, today I am talking about the classic album Machine Head by Deep Purple. Now, Deep Purple in 1971, they were planning to record their new album, and they always felt that the true Deep Purple sound was best captured in a live environment rather than in the studio. So this time, what they decided to do was, rather than going into a conventional studio, they rented the Rolling Stones mobile studio and planned to record the album in Montreux, Switzerland at the Montreux Casino. Not only for that locale, but also because they wanted to shelter themselves from the tax burden over in the UK. So plans were made in December. And what happened at the Montreux Casino was they would feature concerts throughout the year, and then in the winter months they would shut the venue down for renovations. And so Deep Purple took advantage of the hall being vacant and were planning to set up the Rolling Stones mobile recording studio. And the final show before they shut down the concerts for the season was Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. During that concert, some stupid with a flare gun shot it into the ceiling, and as we think about it now, this could have very easily become like the station fire that the band Great White, unfortunately, were a part of. Very fortunately, nobody lost their lives. The place did start to burn while the people were still in the audience. They were able to very effectively and very safely evacuate everyone before the entire casino went up in flames and did burn to the ground. So that pretty much threw Deep Purple's recording plans into chaos. And what they ended up doing is they ended up moving to the Montreux Grand Hotel, still in Switzerland, a few weeks later, and they were able to resume recording their album very thankfully. But of course, that story inspired one of Deep Purple's most iconic songs, one of the most recognizable riffs of all time, Smoke on the Water. Now, Machine Head basically did for Deep Purple what Dark Side of the Moon did for Pink Floyd. It made them a household name. You have some of Deep Purple's most recognizable songs on this particular album with Space Truckin', Highway Star, and Smoke on the Water, obviously. And if anybody has any Deep Purple in their collection who's just a casual fan, I guarantee you they have Machine Head. This was obviously the Mach 2 lineup after the departure or the firing of Rod Evans right before the In Rock album. In Rock, of course, was one of the first true heavy metal albums. Their follow-up Fireball continued on that heavy rock theme, but there just wasn't the commercial elements like there were on Machine Head. Most of the songs on this album found their way onto classic rock radio. I remember Smoke on the Water being one of the very first songs I ever recall hearing on the radio driving around in the early 1970s. I think Steve from All the Worlds on Stage was in his 30s by that point, but I was just a little kid, and I remember just being drawn to this song because I'd never really heard that heavy Hammond organ and heavy guitar matchup like you hear successfully, which kind of defined the Deep Purple sound like you hear on Machine Head. But anyway, obviously Machine Head is an iconic album, so let's dive right into the songs on this gem of a record. The opening track, Highway Star, was written while the group were traveling with some rock journalists to their opening UK tour date in Portsmouth in September of 1971. One of the reporters asked Blackmore how he wrote songs, and Blackmore picked up his guitar and spontaneously played the song's opening riff. Gillan improvised a set of lyrics being a rock band on the road, and the rest of the band completed the arrangement during rehearsals for the gig. They actually debuted the song for the audience at that evening's show.
I thought a quasi-Bach-like sequence would be the answer for a keyboard solo. And I just came up with... and so on. And played that to the lads as an idea, and they said, "Very nice. Now, what do you really mean?" You know. So I said, "No, it'll work. Honestly, it'll work." And Richie's going, "Yeah, that'll work, man." You know. So we played it loud, and introduced the beast. What we ended up with was.
I'm a Leo went under the working title of One Just Before Midnight, which appears in a picture of a recording sheet on the album's gatefold sleeve. The song's main riff, composed by Glover, was inspired by the John Lennon song How Do You Sleep, which had been released on his Imagine album earlier that year. The finished title and lyrics refer to Gillan's astrological sign. The song was played live only once in 1972 at a BBC in-concert performance.
Peeping round the door, I got a big surprise. Couldn't see a thing but open skies. They've taken her away. Where is she now?
Pictures of Home was inspired by the band's experience in Montreux and their homesickness. The track was initially recorded with a drum introduction, but it was left off the original recording. It was added for the 25th anniversary reissue. The driving rhythm reminds me a little of Black Sabbath's Children of the Grave, which was released in 1971. Glover takes a bass solo in the song, and there's a surprising false stop and comeback. Blackmore claims he wrote the main riff after listening to a shortwave radio channel from Bulgaria or Turkey.
Somebody's shouting up at the mountain, only my own words return. Nobody's up there, it's a deception. When will I ever learn? I'm alone here, with emptiness, egos and snow. Unfriendliness chilling my body, and whispering pictures of home.
Never Before was thought by the band to be the most commercial track on the record and was released as a single where it reached number 35 in the UK. The song was played live only once at the BBC in-concert show back in 1972. The central theme of Smoke on the Water was developed by guitarist Ritchie Blackmore and was based on an inversion of Beethoven's Symphony No. 5. The riff is a 4-note blues scale melody in G minor, harmonized in parallel fourths. I have no idea as a non-musician what the hell that means. The riff was played on a Fender Stratocaster by Blackmore, later joined by hi-hat, and Lord's Hammond C3 organ played through a distorted Marshall amp. Lazy starts out with a Hammond organ intro by Lord, which is followed by the main riff from Blackmore before Lord and Blackmore trade solos. Gillan played harmonica both on the studio version and in concert. It's the longest track on the album, and live versions would often stretch out for over 10 minutes. The song Space Truckin' closes out the album in epic style. Blackmore claimed that the song's half-step riffs in the refrain were inspired by the theme music for the Batman TV show. Blackmore asked Gillan if he could write any lyrics over the riff, and the rest of the song evolved from there. Uniquely, the song contains a brief drum solo by Pace. It's one of the band's most anthemic tracks, and the lyrics evoke science fiction and space travel. So that is my deep dive into the Deep Purple Machine Head album. Now, one thing we got to talk about is the cover. The cover was actually a piece of metal that had been stamped with the band's name and the title, and the band stood in front of it so that the reflection would be captured by the photographer, who is actually right here. That's the photographer right there. It's a very cool image and one of the more recognizable album artwork in all of rock and roll. I love this cover, and I love the way they got the guitar right there as well. So anyway, that is my take on Machine Head. I hope, Christian, you enjoyed this trilogy of, I don't know if these are your favorite albums or just random picks, but nonetheless, I had a lot of fun doing these deep dives. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Take care.